guys, and a very warm welcome to all of you. It's a very special day for all of us. We'll be meeting for after a very long time, and all of you who are here, I'm sure you've heard Mekaal Hasan Band's music is why you guys are all here. Papu Saab, क्या
हेलो
बात है? Hello जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
वालेकुम सलाम
Hi
आखिर
Mekaal.
में
हाँ
आखिर
जी,
में मिलके इकट्ठे हो ही गए
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल. Hi Mekaal, how are you?
I'm okay, yaar. How are you?
बस
Been a
यार,
while.
it's been a while and
Ah,
it's so great. Sheldon, how are
Good
you?
to see you, Sharmistha. Good to see Mekaal, Papu, bye. It's been, I think, forever, man.
Yeah, it's been, I think, with Sheldon, the entire band is meeting after a long time. I've played.
yeah.
Uh,
We
Yeah.
last played in 8 years ago. That's when we played.
really? Is it
With
so
Sheldon
long?
and Gino, yeah. 2014 is the last time we played.
Wow,
I think so.
that's a
Yeah.
long time.
But with you, we were
No,
till
we played in
2018.
2015. We played in Coke Studio 2015. So
Yeah. Yeah. No. That was
yeah.
2013 or 14.
No, 2015 we did Coke Studio.
Are you sure?
Of course. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely sure.
Chini alag hai.
Pass some of the chai here.
Now, exactly. That's
You
what
guys
even
don't
I
drink tea, yaar. Come on.
हाँ जी,
You're
बिल्कुल,
not
we do drink tea, but
not as
yeah,
much as we do.
but remember when we were at Mikal's house?
Oh,
What
man. I was just
wonderful,
remembering that couch. I can remember this whole thing, and I was just like, wow,
yeah, and
good old days.
चाय
good
के
old
बगैर तो
days.
लाइफ ही अधूरी रहती है बंदी
सही बात है. But I remember the kava
The
at
kava,
Mikal's. Ah, that was so. I had never had kava before.
How is that
Before I
possible?
had it. नहीं इधर तो मतलब पता ही नहीं था
Man, we just
कि
call it like mint tea or something like that.
yeah, the tea
And
is
then
like
with
a
jasmine tea, mint tea,
and
same thing.
Mekaal actually introduces himself on Twitter and other places street tea drinker.
Oh, really?
One of his
I was. I'm not so much now. Like I don't have that much, but I used to remember I had like 12, 15, 12,
Easy.
15 cups, no problems.
एक टाइम था 50 का
50 कप तो मैंने कभी भी नहीं पिए.
50 cup तो नहीं है but he
कप का
whenever
साइज क्या?
छोटा वाला
छोटा साइज. All right. Yeah.
anyway, and you love to make tea for all your guests who
Yeah,
come
because
to the
people
place.
don't make it
That's-
properly. So I don't want them to have like terrible tea. So I'd rather just, make it myself.
yeah.
That's the only thing I can make.
Yeah, I remember once Mekaal was at my place here in Bombay, and I made some Earl Grey normal, and he was so pissed off. Like, what is this?
ये
That
क्या
was
है?
not like वो तो
What is
चाय के मतलब कैटेगरी में ही नहीं आया. So it was so bad.
Yeah.
No health.
It couldn't have been that bad.
इंटरनेशनल टी भूल गई आप
But anyways, guys, it's so after a long time we are meeting, and I mean, because I knew that we will be doing this since morning. I've been thinking of so like all the things were coming back, the
Yeah,
memories of
and you also went out twice with us on tour.
yeah,
Remember?
yes.
So
So
that
I've
was
basically So those were like amazing memories, and for me as a singer, these were like great learning process, just not because when we sing in Hindustani classical singer, and the way we are used to do playback singing over here, singing with a big band live and getting accustomed to all the I had never played like that, so it was definitely uh, and the riyaz that accompanied to be able to sing the band stuff was also
it's challenging, and it was kind of
लैंग्वेज एंड
the language, and then also the scale, because it wasn't your comfort zone. It
yeah,
was really high. So
yeah,
that it's very whoever is singing, it's always a challenge for them. It's really
yeah,
one of those one of those seats that you occupy, which is
yeah,
rough on the because the vocal is front and center, and it can become a very it's a challenge to do it. But
yeah,
it's interesting, man. Nowadays, it seems like there's no more bands left. It's like they're all gone. Like if you look at seriously, Sheldon, isn't that the
Yeah,
case? Like
it's a solo artist culture now, no?
just
Accompaniment.
yeah,
Singer
just a
and
singer and
accompaniment.
some karaoke stuff happening in
Yeah,
the background. It's the same
yeah,
here. We're
yeah. You either get a
probably
deck or a band.
out of all the bands that came up when we were back in the 2000s, we're the only ones left. I mean, it's pretty much Papu and I have been running it for so long, but we're sort of like the only band left standing. Every band that I know just split up. They stopped.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
even if there are bands, I mean, the thing is that that whole hangout and rehearsing together, writing music together, that's not happening. You know,
but
the
that's
band
what
comes
the
together
beauty
for a
of it
show
is.
and
Like the whole, like the process of gelling together as people.
yeah,
I really miss that, man, because
totally.
I really miss that because the music's the music, but it's also the feeling that the people have, and then you listen to each other and you have like common and like when it's people like you guys who are just going to take the music to the next level, then it's just like wow, I didn't know these songs could sound like this. I that was a
Yeah,
every rehearsal
that's
we do,
no,
we'd be
that's
like
such a
wow.
brave thing to bring your baby, that is your music, to somebody else and let them interpret it, which is something that you have to have confidence in yourself and you need to have that faith in somebody else. And I think
Yeah,
that's like kind of dying out, no, because
completely,
people don't
completely.
do
It's
that
like
anymore.
very much a me-centered environment now, where it's just
Yeah,
about what can I get out of this, and
right.
the singers don't value the musicianship. They just think any person will do, and they don't realize
Exactly.
that musicians have personalities,
Yeah,
uh, and their musicianship has a sound, a style, your note choice, all of those things, the way you play with someone, all of those things make something unique.
correct.
And I think it's just become, even if I hear something and it's like maybe it's got something good, I don't hear solos anymore, I don't hear melodic ideas, I don't hear arrangements, I just hear pretty much one chord and some loop and then maybe some synth shit on top.
And even
I'm
the
just like,
chord is just
man,
a triad, no?
the chords is required. Yeah, God forbid it should be anything else. God forbid if there's a minor seven flat five,
Yeah,
forget it.
you're fired.
Who's gonna sing on that? So it's like it's happened here. I think it's happening worldwide. It's the older bands, like I can't think who's around. Like internationally, like Radiohead, I think is still around. Um,
Yeah, a few cats are doing it. Like John Mayer's got a great band, I think
he's
now.
got a great band, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
he's a different kettle of fish because he understands the value of a band. It may be
yeah,
under his name, but he's got like great players with him. You know,
right.
so he understands that without that band, he's not gonna get that feel, that sound that comes out. And yeah, I mean, I have to tell you that the way this band sounded with you guys, it never sounded like that with anybody else. It's really unique thing. I thought, wow, man, this group has got everything going for it. So, and that was in large part because of you guys. Like, it was really because of you guys, because we were just doing our stuff, and that was, man, that was such an honor. I have to say, it was such an honor for both Papu Saab and me to be able to be in that greatness.
Likewise, man. I mean, completely likewise, because it was very interesting to have the opportunity to kind of interpret that music. And
Yeah,
you have recorded it beautifully as well on a lot of records. So the thing is,
thanks, man.
I
The
had
live
never
recording is
felt.
all we got
I
of
know. I
that
mean,
lineup.
that's the sad, yeah, it's a sad part, and I hope that maybe things change and we could record again and play again. I think it will
We'll,
happen.
dude, we'll probably be like 70 plus.
That's all right.
I'll be
As
there.
long as the
Especially
hands are moving,
K.
it's okay.
I'll be wheeled out on a wheelchair
Yeah.
for
Maybe
sample
the
music.
tempos are a little slower than what they
The
used to be,
tempos
but so.
might be slower, that's for sure. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Sheldon, have you been involved with anything that you'd want to have us check out? Because you gig a lot and you play with a lot of people.
I um I, off late it's funny, but even we are kind of stuck because it's like ever since the pandemic got done, the whole independent scene is still just very shaky and it's not there yet.
Hmm.
And of course, Bollywood took off because it's commercially viable that people profit from it. But the independent music scene has really taken a major hit. So there are outfits that have started, but it's still difficult, and we're still trying. It's few and far in between, so that's also very hard, you know.
Right.
But I would
But
love to. I
I would
mean,
have thought that you guys have a really healthy club scene and a healthy festival scene. So
oh
some of the indie stuff must be featured on there as well.
well, I cannot
No?
comment completely on that. Yeah, because I mean, it's funny that I don't know if the festivals are bringing in the top cats. I still feel like
Okay.
maybe the festivals are looking towards. It's great. I mean, I'm totally up for them pushing younger talent and newcomers, but I feel like the 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 maybe the previous generation of artists that hold a certain um, position and have done some amazing music, I don't see those bands playing festivals, and I don't see those bands playing their original music at clubs either. Even if I go and see these musicians play, they are collaborating and they end up doing music that people know, or
Yeah.
it's like it's not pop exactly, but stuff that they are familiar with. Maybe even if it's a jazz gig, it's a lot of funk and blues stuff that they
Right.
would be able to digest. But a
Right.
band playing their music completely 100% is not much.
That's
Yeah, it's still
that's
happening.
really, yeah, that's really sad because the best music, the music you write yourself,
Yeah,
that represents you. And actually we've been in a similar situation where we've had to now do gigs. We're working with this very good Qawwali singer, Shazad Ali, and we're in the same situation. We'll do some original Qawwalis that he's done which are really good, and then the rest of it is like covers of Nusrat songs and
yeah,
maybe a folk song here and there, and then we try and interject some of our shit in there. But
right.
I absolutely understand what you're saying. And I think with the festival model, the worst aspect of it is, which no one talks about, is the money. And the reason you're probably not seeing these senior bands is because, man, they want to be paid fair and square. And the
Yeah,
younger bands are like, oh, forget it. Like, they're asking for so much, we'll come and do it for nothing.
yeah, exactly.
So that's the problem. And with these solo type artists, they don't have that problem because their name is their brand. So they're already ahead of the game in terms of having a name
Number of
value,
gigs.
number of gigs and name value. And plus, they can keep changing musicians all the time because if someone asks for a pay raise, they're like, "Oh, I'll just get so and so. This is not working for me anymore." So I've seen that, and I know that scene is really bad, and no one ever talks about this shit, but people should because it's criminal. It's actually. Do you guys have a musicians union in
Yeah, we do. We don't.
No, I don't
Oh
think
no, no.
so.
We have a cine music
There's a
association.
film. There's a film union that in the
that doesn't make any difference because they already got everything. Film
yeah.
union,
So, but amongst independent artists, no, there's not.
and it wouldn't. You're saying it wouldn't really make a difference to have some kind of basic pay grades for musicians. That won't work.
I don't know. It would be interesting to see how they would assess that, because again, who would be assessing it? Who determines whose
It
quality
can be
skill
based.
level?
We tried that here.
Okay,
They set up a union and they asked me to write like a charter for it. And like the first thing I said was that, to answer your question, was that it should be a percentage based on the fee that the artist is getting,
exactly. Yeah, always.
right?
That's
And
that's
would
the
you
right way to
would
do
you
it.
believe it, man? No one wanted to sign that. everybody was like, oh no, all these, I'm not going to take names, but there's not that many names to guess. But they're like, oh no, the money we make is our money. And, it's
Yeah,
our gig and we're hiring these guys. So they shouldn't get more money because we've gotten a good gig. And I was like, man, then how are you expecting any loyalty or any kind of development with the musicians? Like, they're just going to go to the next reasonably higher paying gig and you won't have a solid lineup. But they don't care about that. If it was a percentage based thing, then it would actually be fair, because then, because you sometimes get asked to do these things which don't pay very much. That's the common case, right? And sometimes there are gigs which pay very well. I've never understood the logic behind it, that if you expect a guy to perform for you the same set at X amount of rupees or X amount of dollars, why wouldn't you reward that person for sticking with you when things,
exactly.
and give them a bump? I mean, how much of a bump is it going to be? Because the amount of money these guys make is fucking ridiculous. It wouldn't hurt them. It really wouldn't hurt them. But that's the heartbreaking thing about being in this business, that it's not fair. It's
Yeah,
just not.
it's I know
Yeah,
it's
man.
quite a downer of a conversation, Sharmistha.
No, no, but you have to, like, I mean, these are actual issues that we all face. It doesn't matter where you're based. You could be
Yeah,
in
no,
New York,
it's a
because I
universal problem for sure.
universal problem. I mean, I've spoken to musicians in England, France, America. Same story,
Yeah,
same story. And as this whole just singer with a laptop thing comes into being, I'm thinking, man, there might be a time when there's no musicians on stage. It's just a guy with a laptop. That's it.
yeah,
Think
and
about that. Let's be positive and
We,
that's why
we
I
are
try.
being
follow up to
positive. We're
Yeah.
not being
You're
negative.
talking to two musicians that have been through a very hard grind.
Yeah, no, but
So
listen,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you've
let's
got
talk
some of
about
that.
the fun times that we've had, and let's
so
reminisce
the,
those
okay,
things.
so
So that's why we are here. I mean, to
no, I mean,
recall all the fun times that we've had
we will,
together. And
but
No, no,
I kind
I,
of thought that this is something that affects every
of
person,
course,
including you,
you're very right, actually.
including
no,
you.
And
it's an
It affects
interesting
all of us.
thing. I think Sharmista also, what is interesting is that the fun times that we have had should not be something we say about the past anymore. It should
that
not be
is
what
very
we
true.
had. It should be something that we can have and it can continue. And for that
Yeah,
to happen, I always feel that there are certain foundational things that should always be there as part of you as a musician and as a band. So I'm totally I understand where Mekaal is coming from, and we definitely need a system. We
yeah,
need a system in place. Otherwise, like right now, Sadhguru is going around and talking about saving the soil because we might not have food in the next 60 years or whatever, right? It's the same thing with music because if we continue this way, we're not going to have many more musicians. We will have a very degrading sort of business, and it will not thrive. Musicians will struggle even more. So I think definitely, yeah, we need a system, and it's not a
Yeah,
negative thing. It's just something that works. Something we are talking about being fair to everybody. Simple percentages, simple things that help musicians hang out, be more loyal to each other, to the main artist, and that's what we had actually when we were playing, and that's why we had fun. We wrote the music. We learned the music. We wanted to play more gigs. And beautiful things come out of that, which are legendary and stay historic.
yeah.
yeah,
Otherwise, everything is,
And
that
also another thing that Mikal says, which I also kind of learned from him, that music, it's about community. We are
right,
playing together as a group,
right,
and everybody brings their own personal things to the table, and it's like you are playing as a community. It has this is something that I learned kind of playing with the band, because otherwise the concept of music was very, you know as a singer it's isolated, like you are the singer, and so
yeah.
playing the music with the band and being part of that music and not the this thing, this is a concept that I learned. So I
But
mean,
if you
yeah,
yeah, exactly. So the thing is, if you look at, I don't know about how it is for you guys, Mikal, in Pakistan, but like in India, the culture right from school is
Yeah.
music competitions. It's
Mm.
conditioning
Oh yeah,
you to constantly be competing against somebody else. They don't
Yeah.
teach you how to play in an ensemble. They teach you how to be better than somebody else. So
yeah,
this conditioning and this attitude continues into the real world and into the music industry because people think that they have to be better than somebody else. They're not thinking about how do I collaborate, how do I make music better by involving other musicians of the same caliber or better musicians to make my music better. They're not thinking like that. They're thinking
yeah.
how to get better than somebody else, how to make more money than somebody else. And that is a vicious cycle, I think.
Do you think it's because musicians now, the people that they sort of idolize are very much sort of like solo type artists? Like even with the instrumentalists, it's like, it's individuals as opposed to bands. Whereas when I was growing up, you know, the groups that I liked, like Weather Report and Tribal
Right.
Tech and those kinds, they were bands.
Exactly.
They weren't solo guys. And later off, of course, people did solo things, but it was never the same.
Yeah. I think it's like this branding kind of thing that's happening now,
It's the commerce.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
maybe. It's like a product
yeah.
based
This
kind of
is
thing.
you're right.